breakfast time for the boys. If you hear some background noise, it's because, of course, I have the barn fans running. And by the way, of course, I'm standing directly in the line of it because while it's not hot temperature-wise, in fact, it's quite beautiful temperature-wise, it is heavily humid. The air is thick, and it is just rough. Now, I know you guys haven't seen the grooming videos for Thorn and Phineas yet, but these guys were just groomed 2 weeks ago, and look at the mess that Thorn is already. He is fired. I just came out here and found him what we call turtled. He was on his back, and he had managed to be on his back next to this beam, support beam, and Thorn being Thorn, I think he tried to get up a couple times and then just decided that, well, he'll hang here for a while. He knows I'm coming back to get the bowls. He could have gotten up. If I was not here, he would have gotten up. But it was so he's such a funny little gentleman. He waited until I came out here. I flipped him over to the other side so his legs weren't, up against the beam. And boof, he was right up. And back into the bowl eating. So when you have a hard fainter like that, and he is a hard fainter, they know their bodies, they know their capabilities, they know what to do. He was not stressed in the least. He was just laying there half asleep. He was quite content. It had only been a few minutes because obviously the bowls are still full, and so I had just fed them. And I just happened to look out and see his head upside down because that's all I could see from through the stall door. And yeah, he was just laying with his feet up in the air. That is not a good position for a goat to stay in long term. So we certainly, don't want him to do that long term. And like I said, he's more than capable of getting himself up on his own, but he chose to wait for me instead. So I rescued him. Really funny, actually. Just because I know that it was not a crisis, right? This was not drama in any way, shape, or form. This was just Thorn being Thorn. And have you noticed that Voodoo is he's holding his own now. He's pushing his head into bowls. He is part of the boy gang now. He is no longer a baby. He is just accepted as part of their herd. They have little disagreements, but he doesn't back down. When he was a baby, of course, he would back down. Now he holds his own. He's doing great. And in fact, Farm Hubby says to me the other day, he's like, I think Voodoo's getting fat. And based on what we see him eating, he is probably getting a little pudgier. He's not fat. He is fluffy. His hair is growing out. He's not fat, but he certainly doesn't miss a meal. So we do have to regulate. Our boys are plenty big. I can regulate the food. What I've done to make it really simple for everybody is I've converted most of their goat pellets, so their grain, to hay stretcher. So even though they think they're getting their grain, what they're really getting are just hay pellets. And hay is a lot less fatty than, putting on, the grain has, things to put on weight to help them grow, etc. So it's a balance, right? We still want him to grow. We don't want him to stop growing in any way, shape, or form, but we also don't want obese animals, and we certainly don't want to start them obese when they're this young. So, I fine tune it as necessary. Dial it back up. If he looks a little bit thinner, if he looks a little bit chubbier, we dial it down, that back and forth. So this one sort of went sideways. I actually came out here and thought I would spend some time talking about the scabies case that was found in the Midwest. That is a fatal goat and sheep disease. It was all but eradicated in the U.S. And unfortunately now we found a case, and that essentially, not me, the U.S. has found a case, and that essentially sets us back, right? You have to be, I think it's 5 years without a case before you can be declared, scabies free. And now we are back to square one, which stinks. It's a really bad disease. It's not something that's curable. It is entirely fatal. It's often found in the food chain. So at slaughterhouses, when they do audits, that's generally when it's found. And I want to talk to y'all about some of the reasons that we take precautions. And there's no vaccine. There's nothing you can do, right? Like, it's just, don't get it. But part of the don't get it is being able to track and trace animals so that you can find, patient zero, the herd it came from, and really stop the spread. So at any rate, I'll do that in a different video. Maybe I'll do that in clean stall video, because my next job today is to clean all the stalls that haven't been cleaned since I went away. So anyway, I was, like I said, going to talk about it now, but Thorne gave me a whole different topic to chat about. And I'm sorry I didn't think to take a video, but I see him upside down, and my instinct is, let me get him right side up now, not let me go grab my phone and take a video of this. Goats should not be upside down for a long time. It doesn't hurt them on a short period basis, but it does indeed, it changes the position of their organs. Remember, these are ruminants. They have different stomachs than we do. They maintain and retain food in their rumen. So when they're upside down, things are sloshing in the wrong direction. It adds to potential problems. These are not like cows where if they're, they're so large that if they're in a different position, they can cut off circulation to, their nerves and things, and actually prevent them from being salvageable. That's not the case. And as I mentioned, and I'll mention again so nobody's worried, if this had happened when I was not here, he would have gotten himself back up. He just chose to wait for me because that's how Thorne rolls. Are you wagging your tail? Did you have a happy breakfast? Yeah? All right, well, y'all better get a drink now, because I'm going to kick you out of the stall so I can clean it. Yours isn't too bad. The does look rough. So take me an hour or so to strip everybody's stalls, get them clean, and maybe I'll come back and do that Scrapey's talk. I'm not an expert by any means. Thankfully, it was never prevalent or even existent in New Jersey, so we have different rules and regulations than are out in the Midwest. Plus, we're not really part of what I would call the goat and sheep food chain for the most part, just based on how this state happens to be. New York is similar, right? But it's good to know about, it's good to talk about, and I think a lot of us goat owners are, chatting behind the scenes about it. So that'll be upcoming, and I think for now, we'll leave it at Thorne turtled. We got him rescued, and all is well. Until next time, there's work to be done. Bye for now.